Dear listeners, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our program, The Roots. We are looking at our topic that we looked at last time, dignity. Dignity is one of the roots that we have to take care of in our lives if we have to be complete in our lives. Yeah, dignity, last time we said it's a sense of worth. It is a sense of honor. It's a sense of confidence. It's a sense of esteem. All those put together in you bring out what we call dignity. Dignity can be a composed, all serious manner, all style that is in a person. Dignity can be a sense of pride in oneself, all self-respect. Last time I explained self-love because I said before you try to give others dignity, it should begin with you. Do you have dignity? Do you have that sense of dignity in you? And we said we are going to be looking at self-dignity, where we find self-love. If you are to be a person with dignity, you should love yourself. You should care for yourself. You should esteem yourself. You should appreciate yourself. And all that. If you don't do them, don't expect others to do them for you. In that, we talked about what I call love language. If you are to love yourself, you should speak what we call love language, under which we talked about using words of affirmation about you. Never be negative about yourself. It's an indicator that you don't love yourself. Compliment yourself. Say some words of encouragement to yourself. Think good about yourself. Get some quality time for yourself. Give yourself a gift of appreciation for your performance. Don't wait for others. Do some good service for yourself. All of that we have done so many times, not for ourselves, but for other people. Today we want to look at dignity within us. Self-dignity. Self-love. If you have dignity, it means you are worthy of respect. Someone with dignity carries herself or himself well. How do you carry yourself? You want others to respect you when you don't respect yourself? By the way you think, by the way you talk, by the way you behave. I've heard many men talking about respect. I don't like a woman who doesn't respect me. Yes, that woman may somehow or somewhere fail to respect you as any human being would be. But before you make such a statement, do you respect yourself in the way you behave? Do you respect her before you ask for respect from her? Respect, dignity is a two-way process. Much as you look for it from others, you should also give it back. But most of all, you should have dignity within yourself before you seek it from others. How are your inner feelings and attitudes about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? If it was to put a price tag on yourself, what tag would you put? The lowest tag, the middle tag, the highest tag? Don't wait for others to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. Today we are looking at self-care. Last time we looked at self-love under the root dignity. Today we are looking at self-care. You will realize that self-care is not far away from self-love, not far away from self-esteem, not far away from self-appreciation. So for that reason, you should have an order for them. You are yourself. We talked about self, you, all me, not any other. The order should be, I love myself. That is the first thing you should do about yourself. Second, I appreciate myself. Third, I care for myself. Fourth, I esteem myself. They all go hand in hand. You cannot take one of them and leave the other. They are brothers and sisters. If you love yourself, you appreciate yourself, you care for yourself, then you esteem yourself. My question is, do you love yourself? You may not give me the answer, but if you were to ask yourself, do I really love myself? I'm going through a lot in my life. My life is not complete, as if I'm living a kind of burdening life. Myself, not any other. But what could be the cause? It may be you lack dignity. Which dignity should be created by you? Love yourself. When you love yourself, you start feeling good about yourself. Do you love yourself or you hate yourself? You can't say you love yourself when there are certain things that you don't fulfill. They are requirements of love. Which requirements you and I should abide by in order to be complete. I have a reading from the Bible in the book of Matthew chapter 22, verse 37 and 39. It talks about love. Jesus was talking to his disciples as I'm talking to you and myself, and he gave them 2 commandments summarized from the 10 commandments. The first one is, Love your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. The phrase in this is, love your God. With all what you are, with all yourself, love your God. That is the first commandment. Shama, thank you for watching. Second commandment, love your neighbor as you love yourself. From this I picked, as you love yourself. First is love God. Second, love your neighbor as you love yourself. It means after God, you come next. Then you love your neighbor. You cannot say you love yourself when you don't love God. You cannot say you love God when you don't love yourself. Because it is a requirement, it's a commandment for you to love yourself. And you cannot tell me that you love your neighbor more than you love yourself. He tells you to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So with the question, do you love yourself or you hate yourself? You can't say you love God when you don't love yourself. That's a lie. That's a pretense. Question 2. What do you think about yourself? What do you say about yourself or talk about yourself? What do you do to show that you love yourself? Get me right. Think about yourself, not about others. Say or talk about yourself, not about others. Do to show that you love yourself, not showing others, but to show yourself that you love yourself. What do you do? Many times we have performed to show others. We talk so that others may hear. We think for others, all about ourselves, and what we think comes out of our mouth. But what do you think? What do you say? What do you do? Are you able to say that what I'm doing is an indicator that I love myself? Many times we have thought negative about ourselves. We have talked negative about ourselves. We have done bad things and negative things about ourselves. That is being mean to yourself. If you don't love yourself, you hate yourself, then you are mean to yourself. Nobody will be generous to you if you are not generous to yourself. So for that reason, if you love yourself, you care for yourself. He who loves something cares for it. Like I told you, a plant, it's our illustration we use because we are learning about roots. If you're a gardener, you have plants in your garden. You have to love those plants because they are productive for your good. And in loving them, you constantly care for them so that they come out with good products and plenty of products for you to enjoy. Therefore, even about yourself and myself, I have to love myself. I have to care about myself. What is self-care? It is self-explanatory. Doing good about yourself, that is care. Think good about yourself. Say good about yourself. Do good about yourself. Be positive about yourself. Compliment yourself. Whatever is good, do it for yourself. That is self-care. Remember, you don't have to do it for others before you do it for yourself. I don't stop you from caring for others, loving others, but today we are looking at self-dignity, the value you have through loving yourself, caring for yourself. We again have another scripture or reading from the Bible, from the book of Philippians. It's one of the letters written by Paul, chapter 4, verse 6. He says, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done. That is the key point to somebody who cares for him or herself. Why do you worry? Many of us worry about something and about nothing. You may not understand when I say nothing, about nothing. Yes, if you worry about non-issues to you, then you are worrying about nothing. There is a designated time for you to be awake, that is during daytime. There is a designated time for you to be in bed sleeping according to God's schedule for you. Once you get into bed, you start thinking about what you cannot solve. You make it a day for yourself. During that day, you are dozing off, making it night for yourself. That is just an example of worrying about nothing. I didn't sleep the whole night. Really? How many hours are in the night? What were you doing? You know I have a lot of trouble. You know I was thinking so much. You know this and that and that and that. Why? This reading tells us don't worry about anything. Anything. In other words, you shouldn't worry about it. What are you worried about? I cannot list them, you know. And when you worry, are you going to change anything anyway? You a husband over there worrying about your wife. There are some men who are going to take her. She's looking so beautiful these days. I see her doing this and that and that. Do you need to worry about that? Did you create that woman? Do you have anything you are going to change about her? And most times, what worry us may not even be true. You worry about your child, who is no longer a child but a grown-up. A girl who is 20 years plus, you worry about her. Now, what kind of man will she marry? Now, I see her dressing up. Where is she going? Maybe she has a boyfriend. See, a lot of things. You carry a lot of things. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. If you want to care for yourself well, stop being worried. That is the first step to therapy. Those of us who are worried, stop worrying. Is it possible? How can I do it? Yes, it is possible, because God, who created you, can take all your burdens, all what worries you. So what you have to do is to pray about everything that worries you. Who do you pray to? Who do you give your prayers? God Himself, who wants you to be complete. So if you have been worried about anything over there, if I've been worried about anything, just replace worry by praying to God. You can't pray to God unless you love God. You can't trust God. You can't pray to God unless you trust Him. You can't pray to God unless you believe that He is the one who can carry your worries and give you whatever you want. That very text tells us to tell God what we need. We get so much worried about what I call non-issues. You got food for supper, you ate well, you slept well. Before you wake up in the morning, you are yawning, stretching yourself in bed saying, oh, now I don't know what I'm going to eat today. Did you know what you ate yesterday? Now I don't know how life will be today. Did you plan your life that you have lived ever since you were born? Don't worry for everything. Tell God what you need. He knows everything about you, and He has a good plan for you. Don't end at praying to Him, telling Him what you need, but thank Him for all He has done. I am becoming a very old woman soon, if I'm not old now. But isn't God faithful, who has kept me all the way through those years from day 1 up to 50 years? Why should I be worried about the 51st year, the 52nd year? Why should I be worried about my retirement? Why should I be worried about my bazukulu grandchildren? He who created me, He who gave me children, He who gave them children who are my grandchildren, knows all about them. Let's leave everything to God. Self-care. We have talked about worry. It takes a very, very great percentage of our lives, and we die unknowingly. We die untimely. There are consequences of worry. Remember, we are talking about self-care as part of dignity. People can easily tell that you are worried. How do they tell? Because you don't know that worry is not part of self-care. So you should erase it from your life. Worry, I'm not going to be worried. Let me cast all my worries unto God who cares for me. Then when I come before people, they will look at me and I deserve dignity. Oh, that woman looks so good. She's a respectable woman. Mwe mumanye ekibi ng'omuntu okubeera ng'oli mweraliikirivu. Worry takes over your life. You look worried, you talk worried, you think worried, you perform worried. At the end, you become a burden to others. If you are to care for yourself, in order to be a person of dignity, don't worry. Worrying is being mean to yourself. Worrying is lack of appreciation to yourself. Worrying is lack of love for yourself. And worrying is a sign of lack of care for yourself. Thank you for watching. We shall begin from there. Remember, this video is live on Facebook, and I'm going to post it on YouTube. If you are there, please subscribe and share with others so that we learn together. See you next week. God bless you.